You want to start us off in the AFC North?
AFC North.
Or you want me to do first? You want me to go first for all AFC and then you go first for all NFC?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. All right. Starting in the AFC North, the best division, in my opinion. And you're going to see this because the last place team has 10 wins, and that is the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns have an excellent roster to me. I'm not even going to debate that. I think Deshaun Watson will be good next year. Obviously, they have the best running back in Nick Chubb. They have a great receiver core with Amari Cooper, David Njoku, and then I think Elijah Moore will have some good run. I think the O line is good. I think that they brought in some key pieces on the defense with Zadarius Smith and Shelby Harris, and you pair that with Myles Garrett, they look like they have one of the best D lines. But with all that being said, as I mentioned with the Patriots, and even though I took the Patriots last, culture and coaching are a massive thing in the NFL, bigger than any league, in my opinion. And for that reason, I still have them winning 10 games, going 10-7, but I have them finishing fourth in the division. I'm telling you, those other teams, man, those other teams.
There is no way. There is no way Pittsburgh has a better team than Cleveland.
I'm
There's no
telling
way.
you, I'm telling you,
There's no way
culture matters.
Pittsburgh. There's no way
Culture matters in
Pittsburgh.
this league.
Oh, there is no way.
The
You don't
Steelers
think
have more wins
Stefanski
last
can lead
year.
a team? You don't think Stefanski can lead a team? Come on.
Stefanski definitely can. I feel like I don't know. I don't want to say he's lost that locker room, but they've lost movement. They've lost movement.
Okay.
And also, I know Deshaun Watson came back last year, but I also think that there's going to be it's going to take him some time to get back for sure. Because you remember the last time he was good, they went 4-12, and then he missed
Well, you,
basically.
you mean the Texans when he like
Yeah,
last
yeah,
played?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. When he was last playing and he was very quality, they went 4-12. Then he had 2 years off, and then I think he came back and he played what the last 4 or 5 games of this season, right?
Yeah, around that. Yeah.
Right. So no, like I think Deshaun Watson will be much better than last year. Not that that's going to be hard to do, but I just think that it's going to take some time to get back. I mean, especially with a division where you're going against Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, plus the Steelers defense, like it's going to take some time to get back to peak Watson. So for that reason, I think that the Cleveland Browns will be last, but with a good record at 10-7.
Okay. All right. I do
I know who
actually.
you're going to have last, and I'm not happy about it.
Okay. All right. I do agree with you, Matt, on the AFC North being the best division in the entirety of football. I actually have all the teams having above a 500 record. And with that being said, I'm going to be a little bit different this time. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers finishing last in the division, going 9-8.
9-8. Okay. Okay. No problem. Just would like an explanation.
Obviously, with Mike Tomlin being their head coach, they're getting respectable every year. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a given. They're gonna finish with at least 8-9 wins every
They,
single
they
year.
can't have a losing season with Tomlin.
No, like Mike Tomlin, he's got some voodoo. Like it's in the NFL script, if you want to call it like that. That Mike Tomlin always has a respectable team every single year. I remember back in the 2019 season when like Big Ben was out the whole year with his shoulder being messed up. They started Duck Hodges at QB, also Mason Rudolph at QB, and they
Yeah.
still got like what 8 wins that season. So the Steelers are
Was
never
that
going to be bad under Mike Tomlin.
was that the same year that Miles Garrett ripped off the helmet and threw it at him? Or hit it
Yes,
on
that
the way threw
was.
it off? Okay. Okay.
Yes, that was. And it's kind of funny that no one cares that he did that since that happened.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of funny.
Nobody.
That's because like no one likes Mr. Rudolph. But with that being out the way, let me get to my actual point. The Pittsburgh Steelers, right? I do think their offense has the potential to be very dynamic with George Pickens being in his second year. Of course, they have Deontay Johnson, Calvin Austin, wide receiver 3 for them out of Memphis. He's a burner.
Good tight end
He's gonna.
position.
Hmm?
Good tight ends with Pat Fryermuth and Darnell Washington.
That is true. That is very true. Um, O line should be better with new acquisition, Isaac Seumalo leading the charge, but I just don't like Matt Canada being their offensive coordinator, man. One of the most stale, bland offenses ever since he's been there. I just don't like for them to unlock a new element in their offense, for them to take the next leap. Matt Canada is not a part of that plan, in my opinion. I think that's really gonna hurt them, especially in a team, in a division, excuse me, that has all of these dynamic offenses, potentially all of these creative minds with Kevin Stefanski, Zach Taylor leading the way with both the Browns and the Bengals. So
No,
I
that's
just
fair.
don't. Yeah, I just don't see Pittsburgh getting enough wins to be a playoff team,
No,
especially in the division.
that's understandable. I'll say I'm definitely higher on Pittsburgh than anybody else I've heard. So I understand that. I'll talk about Pittsburgh next because I have them finishing third in this division with a record of 12-5. Um, I actually have them. We'll hopefully get to do our week one predictions, but I actually have them upsetting the 49ers in week one at home. But the reason that or here, let me start by this. Let me start with this because you brought up a great point with Matt Canada. I agree. I'm not a huge fan of Matt Canada, but Kenny Pickett endorsed him to return, and Mike Tomlin endorsed him to return. I trust Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's a Super Bowl champion. He's got some pedigree to him, and he's been around the block quite a bit. So I trust him. And if Kenny Pickett, a rookie quarterback, wants to keep understanding the playbook, not have to learn a new playbook, feels comfortable with an OC, and maybe now I can tell him this. Maybe now, since we're going to year two, maybe I don't have to do everything that he says, but I can maybe um, tell him, give him suggestions about what we should incorporate or we should run this offense this way. So I'm hoping to see a little bit of that. But as I've mentioned before, 7-2 when TJ Watt came back. This is assuming health. Um, Obviously, the defense is going to be great. They're going to be great at home. They're not going to start the season 0-3 with Mitchell Trubisky, and I'm expecting a big second year jump for Kenny Pickett. I don't need to repeat all that, so that's why I have them going 12-5.
Okay, by big jump, what do you mean by that?
So 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 here so Joe Burrow was a rookie. He obviously was a rookie. I think they won 3 games. Got Jamar Chase. Second year jump was the Super Bowl, right?
Okay.
Last year or 2 years ago, Trevor Lawrence rookie year. Urban Meyer, Doug Peterson comes in halfway through. They didn't look great, right?
Hmm.
Second year jump for Trevor Lawrence was beating the Chargers in a great comeback win, losing to the Chiefs the next round. Kenny Pickett, solid rookie year in my opinion. Probably a better rookie year than the other two guys just because of his circumstances and standards. Um, and then what am I expecting this year? I don't know numbers wise, but I'm expecting a very efficient guy, low interception guy. Because have you ever heard? I assume you've heard that the NFL is split into 2 seasons, right? Where it's the first 8 games and the last 9 games, right? Kenny
Hmm.
Pickett, I think in the first 8 games was like had one of the highest interceptions, and then the last 9 games had one of the lowest interceptions. So I'm expecting him to play safe football, which is okay when you have the defense of the Steelers. I'm expecting him to basically play make with his mobility and then get the ball into his playmakers with Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. So I'm expecting them to make the wild card. They are the last wild card team I had. They are that 7th seed. I'm expecting them to lose in the first round, but I'm expecting them to get them in the playoffs.
That's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous
Okay.
to say.
Can I make a good argument or what?
You did make it. You did make a good argument, but at the same time, Browns, Ravens, Bengals.
The Browns, the
Top
Browns
three.
have more talent on paper. I agree with you. The Browns
Mm-hmm.
defense, that defensive line should scare any offense. Let's just be real. Miles Garrett, you damn near have to triple team if you want to stop him. Shelby Harris is a very underrated pickup. And Zadarius Smith has got double-digit sacks for the last however many years. So they have a great defensive line, but I think culture in the NFL can go a long way, and that's the only reason I can't. But I'm still giving the Browns 10 wins because they have that nice of a roster. Um, but who was your third place team?
Speaking about Cleveland, that is my third place team. I
Nice.
got them going 10-7. Let me speak about the defense. Miles Garrett, help is finally on the way, my brother. Depoy Miles Garrett is on the way. You've heard it here
Mm,
first. Miles Garrett will win Depoy this year. Oh my God, you put actual D line help around a guy like Miles Garrett, who in every single season, before 2023, had little to no names on that D line. Name like what, three respectable players on the D line that Miles Garrett has played with his entire career.
I can name Jadavian Clowney, and you can argue if he's respectable or not.
Fair enough. And then probably who else? Larry Ogunjobi, if I'm correct.
He was all right. He was all right.
And then
Um,
the rest are just
exactly. Yeah.
replaceable players, replaceable starters. Well,
Hmm.
I'm gonna read the names they have now. Sadarius Smith, the guy for agency, Dalvin Tomlinson as
Solid.
well, and then Ogbo Okoronkoro from the Houston Texans had a breakout year last year. He's gonna be on the outside, and you add all these guys together, and you put them alongside a guy like Miles Garrett, and also they replaced Joe Woods, their previous defensive coordinator, with Jim Schwartz, who over his career has been, he has been considered to be one of the best at creating pressure with only 4 or 5 guys on the line. We've seen that already with the Eagles, their title-winning team back in 2018, with Brandon Graham leading the way, and
Fletcher Cox.
I'm forgetting Fletcher Cox as well too. And so combine all of those elements together, this could possibly be the best D line in the entire league. I'm telling you right now.
Mm. You didn't mention Shelby Harris. I hope that's
Yeah,
not
so,
disrespect.
no, it's not disrespect, but you already mentioned Shelby Harris too, so I
Right.
just want to like
Um,
add more people there.
I forgot about the Delvin Tomlinson signing. That's a very good signing as well. Um,
Him as well.
plus you got
And,
great cornerbacks in Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome.
that is
Um,
true, very true.
so yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I have no problem. I have no problem with you ranking the Browns highly because, like you said, and like we know, the battle is won in the trenches, and the Browns consistently have one of the best O lines, and now they're going to have one of the best D lines. So there's a chance for them to be better than 10-7. We both have them at 10-7, but there's a very real chance, depending on what Deshaun Watson we get, that they
mhm.
could even finish first if in some worlds.
And for me, of course, the Browns are my biggest boom or bust team in the entire league heading up to the season.
That's very fair.
There is just one guy on this team that is going to determine whether or not they're going to be a dark horse contender or a team that's going to not make the playoffs. And his name is Deshaun Watson. And I have a lot more, praise for Deshaun, and with a lot more hopes for him actually getting back to his elite form, or near towards his elite form. I think with them adding a lot more weapons, and Cedric Tillman, the guy they drafted out of, I believe, Tennessee. No, I think Purdue, if I'm correct. Him as well, and them trading for Elijah Moore is going to bring a lot more receiving threats to that offense. Putting him alongside a guy like Amari Cooper, one of the best receivers at route running and separation, and another deep threat with Donovan Peoples Jones as well. And they already got the best O line, arguably the best O line in the entire league. They got the best running back in the entire league, in my opinion, Nick
Yep.
Chubb.
Yep. No, for sure. But I want to give thoughts and prayers. I think Greg Ward on their roster got hurt. I think it was either a torn ACL or torn Achilles. But I thought he was going to be a great gadget player for them. Somebody who you could insert for those special plays, for those trick plays, especially in even on the returning game. I thought he would be monumental and one of those dudes who could change the momentum in one of those crucial games. Just when you're down, he could have a big return or he could have a splash play and boom, like that, you change the momentum, you win the game. I thought that could have been a real thing for him. So I'm hoping he has a speedy recovery.
Mm, very true.
Um,
Prayers up for Greg Ward, yo.
yep. Second in this division with a QB who is freshly paid, I have the Baltimore Ravens with a record of 12-5. Um, the Ravens, man, they had a pretty busy offseason bringing in Odell and re-signing Lamar. Obviously, their defense is going to be great with Roquan Smith and a guy like, I don't want to mess this up. It's Jim Harbaugh. No, it's John Harbaugh. John.
Yes, it is
John.
John Harbaugh.
Okay, good, good.
Jim is the Michigan head
Continue,
coach.
coach. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I always mix those two up. But the defense is going to be great as it is every year. One of the best home field advantages in the entire league. And then Lamar is great on by himself. I'm expecting the offense to be a lot better with a new OC and with some better receiving options. Obviously, bringing in Odell, drafting Zay Flowers. Yeah, drafting Zay Flowers. And then hopefully Rashad Bateman can be a better form of himself. You still have guys like Devin Duvernay, Mark Andrews will be more healthy, and then you'll have a full year of J.K. Dobbins. So I'm hoping to see a much better Ravens offense this year, a much more complete Ravens offense this year.
Mm, I hope so too, man. Lamar, hey man, I need a full season. I need a full
Mm-hmm.
season. We need it.
Need
The
a
whole
full
league
season
needs
out
it.
of you.
The whole league needs it. But for my second team in the AFC North, I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals at 12
Ooh. Okay, tell us why.
at 12 indeed. Of course, they're bringing back most, if not all, of their key stars from the past 2 seasons. Joe Burrow, of course, Chase, Higgins, Mixon, all of those guys as well. Defense, you still got B.J. Hill, if I'm correct, DJ Reader, Trey Hendrickson leading that D line.
Yep.
But my issue with the Bengals is that the secondary, man, you can throw on that secondary unit. And with them losing, Cam Sutton and Eli Apple, two very crucial corner pieces last year that contributed to their team, and you're gonna have a bunch of unproven guys, and also with Jesse Bates being gone as well. Dax Hill, the guy they drafted back in 2021, I think, with as being the base replacement. He's gonna have very big shoes to fill in that defense. Another young player, Cam Taylor Britt, which I'm very high on. He has to step up as well as a corner too, alongside Chidobe Awuzie on the other side. So questions along that side of the ball got me questioning whether or not I have them finishing second or first in that division. It can go either way, to be honest.
That's
But
fair. Did
mhm.
you have you mentioned the secondary and the defense as the main reason why you have them finishing second. Was the Joe Burrow preseason injury any concern as well or no?
No, it's not going to be long term. So I expect him to make a full recovery and be clearly one of the best quarterbacks in the league, as we've all known him to be these past couple of seasons now. So no, I have no worries about his injury.
Fair, fair. I also have the Bengals winning or going 12-5. They just have the tiebreaker in the simulation I ran or the program I used for this. So they have the same record as the Ravens, but they will finish first in my opinion. Like you said, they did lose some key pieces on the defense with Jesse Bates, Cam Sutton, not Mike Hilton, Eli Apple. But I think that Lou Anarumu is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. I think he's extremely underrated. And then I would argue that they have a top three offense in the league, undoubtedly. Just with
Fair
Joe
enough.
Burrow, with their receiving core, the O line is much improved as we saw last year. So I have them finishing first, but tied with the Ravens at 12-5.
Fair. Speaking of the Ravens, I had the finishing top of the AFC North with a 12-5 record, the
Wow,
tiebreaker, of course.
nice,
Mm-hmm.
nice. You're doing pretty well.
Great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. All right, but their new offensive coordinator, Todd Monken from Georgia, of course, he is going to be the difference maker to making that offense take that next leap. Of course, during this time at Georgia, one of the best passing attacks in the entire college football world. Him helping out Stetson Bennett, being a respectable quarterback, showed it showed a lot during his time there too. And with a guy like Lamar, Greg Roman was there for a few years. They were always one of the top rushing attacks in the entire league. But when it came time to the postseason and in the passing game, it always faltered. Uh, once teams figured out how to stop the run, the Ravens offense shut down as a result, and because of that too, Lamar Jackson, his passing ability fell off as well once that happened. And you bring in a guy like Tom Monken in to help Lamar be a more efficient passer, be a more smart passer when it comes to making easy reads, when it comes to making quick, clean throws inside of the pocket, inside of structure. I think that's going to be the difference. And you put that alongside his best receiving core during this entire time with the
For sure.
Ravens. Zay Flowers is going to be a stud. I know Odell's there. He's going to help as well. Mark Andrews, we know who he is as a elite tight end when he's healthy. Man, the Ravens offense is gonna be great this year. I have no doubt about that.
Here's my first prediction, and I don't want to spoil too many awards. I got Zay Flowers winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think that wide receiver core has they have a lot of names that are a lot better than their previous years. Obviously, last year they basically went out with Devin Duvernay as their wide receiver one because Rashad Bateman was injured most of the year, and previous years they've had Hollywood Brown as their wide receiver one. But this year, obviously, Odell's coming off a massive injury, a major injury. You still have Rashad Bateman coming off another injury, and then Devin Duvernay. Obviously, I think he's quality. I don't think he has that wide receiver one upside. Whereas I
No,
think that
he's a nice deep threat. He's
yeah,
for
he's a
40.
nice deep threat.
Yeah,
He's
he's
a
a
nice
solid
like
deep threat for what he is.
exactly. But I think to have a guy like Zay Flowers who you can kind of take in the first round, and then you can kind of cater him to be the next big thing with Lamar. I think that they'll feed him. I think that he'll have to step up because, like I mentioned, Odell's coming back from an injury. He'll need time to get back. I think Mark Andrews will probably lead them in receiving yards. He'll obviously be the number one receiving option, but I'm expecting a massive year from Zay Flowers. We obviously have seen Lamar do great things with rookies. I remember Hollywood Brown's first game against the Dolphins. He did some impressive stuff. I think he had like over 100 yards, closer to 200 yards, and a TD or two. So I'm expecting those kind of numbers from Zay Flowers this year.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. And before we move on, we forgot to mention the defense as well.
Yeah.
That defense with the full season of Roquan Smith, scary.
And a much improved pass rush because that pass rush was awful last year.